And the second we turn 26, we're like, oh my God, we're in our late 20s. What am I doing with my life? Be freaking real right now. In this new season of prioritizing myself, finally getting to know myself, and just overall focusing on me, that includes figuring out the things we like and the things that make us us. I'm talking all things from hobbies, things we like to do when we're not focused on everybody else, and work, and my aesthetic, my clothes, my makeup, my hair, what we like to do, the kind of people we like to hang around, all of those things. So I figured I'm going to start a series where I take you guys along and I focus on those things. So for example, this video, I'm literally just focusing on one specific hobby that I really want to take up a lot of my time, and I want it to replace scrolling. This is a hobby that I've been wanting to do literally for years. I first saw it on TikTok and I thought it was like the coolest thing, but the most creative thing, and my brain loves creative hands-on things. I just never made the time to do it because, again, stuck in survival mode, taking care of everybody else, and I just realized that I don't need to be doing that anymore, and I need to be focusing more on what makes me happy and trying out new things. So that hobby is, I don't even know exactly how to describe it, but it's kind of like scrapbooking, junk journaling, but journaling by itself. So essentially, I'm getting all of the supplies today. I have ordered a few things on Amazon. You're just gonna have to wait and see. We're about to go out and head to a stationery store, which I've literally never done before, and I've been wanting to do my entire life, and here we are at 28 doing it. So if you're kind of confused as to what I'm talking about here, definitely stick around, because when we get back and go over all the supplies, I'll kind of show you and explain to you exactly what I'm planning on doing with the whole scrapbook, journal, notebook, planning, junk journaling situation. It's going to be a combination of a bunch of different things. So the plan and the goal for today is to head out and get anything that just calls out to me as far as my creative brain goes. So with that being said, let's head out to the stationery store and see what we find. It's the next day and we have got our supplies. I'm so freaking excited about these crafts. Let's jump into everything that we got. All of this stuff is a mix from Amazon and then going in stores to like stationery and craft supplies, and I'll make sure to let you know where everything's from, and I'll have everything from Amazon, a link in the description below. So I'm just gonna start with like the bare bones supplies of what I need for the journaling. Then we'll get into the crafty fun things. So starting off strong, we have our journal. It's an A5 leather binder style. So this actually came with the journal itself, the lined paper inserts, as well as some pocket inserts and tabs, which is pretty cool because it kind of comes with all the little extra things that you would normally have to buy separately. And then inside on the back, There's a little pocket there. It's got a pen loop. And then on the other side, another pocket. So the reason why I got this specific journal is because you can take the inserts out and move them around and make them extremely customizable. And that's exactly what my brain has been wanting. I'm so over the regular planners, the day-to-day planners, monthly planners, because you can only do so much with that. And I think that's why I never really stuck with them. I would do them for like a week and then I was like, I feel a little bit constricted. So with this, you can choose whatever kind of inserts you want. There's so many different kinds. And I also ordered just inserts that are blank. So again, I am going with the flow with how I want to build out this journal. But my thought process for what I want to do is I want to use this as maybe a combination journal / scrapbooking. So the journaling aspect every day about how my day is going when I wake up, maybe before I go to bed, just to like brain dump, maybe adding in some other list-like things. And then with the blank pages is where I want to let my creative side flow. So the scrapbooking, collaging, all of those kinds of things. And that's where all of the little crafty things comes in. But staying on the supplies, next we got glue tape. And this came in a little 4-pack. The last tool, if you will, that I got are little craft tweezers. So let me show you why these are so important. Okay, well, that's cool. So this one came with 2 tweezers, but we're mainly gonna be using these. These are really cool because they're not regular tweezers. They're kind of angled and sharp. And then the other pair that it came with are just regular pointed ones. These are sharp. So all of those things are from Amazon. Now we're gonna move into the fun stuff, the crafty stuff. The first 2 things are really cool, and these 2 things are also from Amazon. So the first thing we got is a box of washi tape. And just like a disclaimer, I'm just starting and I have a specific vision in my head of what I think I want the collages to kind of look like. And these collages are going to change based off of my mood, the seasons that I'm in, the things that I'm going through. So I'll be able to change up the aesthetic and get other little supplies and crafts that are different aesthetics. But right now I'm kind of going for like a vintage, old, neutral, newspapery, like vibe. I don't know if you can see it, but maybe you'll get the vision after I show you these things. So washi tape is essentially literally just craft tape. You'll understand the like vintage aesthetic that I'm talking about if I show you a couple of these. You've got really skinny ones. This one's really cool. It has like the vintage wax seal, manuscript style, newspaper style. You get the gist. So this is like, how many are in here? 34 rolls, and I think it was like 10 bucks. So absolutely love that. Nice variety there. Then we have stickers. I think the pack that I got is like a forest theme. So a lot of these are like not exactly the vibe that I'm going for, but there are some in here that has that older vintage theme. Let me try and find some that I can show you. So for example, I don't know if you can really see these, but that's a really good one. That's fun. So like, I like the signs and like the posters, the ones with like the plants and all of the flowers, like I'm sure I'll use eventually, but like, as you could tell, there's a lot of ones with flowers and bouquets and foresty type things. So not everything in here is the exact vibe. And then the rest of these crafts are what I got when I went out yesterday and did some shopping. The first store I went to was Paper Source, and if you have one around, you definitely check it out. But they ended up not really having a lot of the crafty things that I was looking for, but they did have some really cute stuff and it's worth a trip. The only thing that I had gotten from there were these jelly roll pens. This has 2 metallic and 1 regular black. I figured I would eventually need those. I love the color black. And then I also just got a plain white one, a white jelly roll pen. I've really been wanting for my coloring to do like little accents and stuff. So that's what this is for, but I'm sure I'll use it for this as well. Then I went to Michael's and things got pretty good there. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm gonna be spending all of my time there. I got 2 other jelly roll pens. One is just a plain brown, and then the other is like a metallic glittery beige. And obviously, as we know, I'm a neutral girl. So between the black, white, brown, and beige, we should have enough jelly pens for now to start. Then we got more stickers. I don't know how well you can see these, but they're kind of just like gold metallic flowers. And then I came across this like, what is this called? What are these things called? Ribbon. Cream lace ribbon. And I just thought that would be so cute, just cut into some strips with the washi tape, the stickers, the vibe that I'm going for. Then we got some cardstock options. They had these like random sheets of paper for like 99 cents. And again, this is just like the color, the neutrals, that old like map-like vintage feel. So nothing crazy. I just plan on, you know, kind of like cutting it, ripping it into a bunch of different pieces and just utilizing that in its own way. Now this bad boy is the star of the show. So I ended up walking down like the first aisle of Michael's, and they had these gigantic like cardstock paper books, but they were like $25-$30, and I was like, I'm just starting this craft, I don't want to spend a bunch of money on it. So I walked past them, although I really wanted a couple of them. And then the last thing that I looked at in Michael's before I walked out, I almost skipped it, was the clearance section, and they had a stack of those cardstock books, and I was like, oh, interesting. So I looked, and they were $3. I was like, okay, why are they $3? This is a November themed cardstock, and obviously it's literally June, so nobody's buying fall themed stuff. But I looked through this and I was like, okay, number one, as long as I'm sticking with this hobby through fall is my absolute favorite season. I'm gonna have the time of my life with scrapbooking, collaging, and journaling during fall. So I was like, this will be perfect. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get it. It's just $3. Like for fall, I'll have it. And then I looked through it, and the pages like fit the aesthetic of what I'm going for perfectly, so I can use this now. So I was like, what a steal. So how can I like show you? I'll try and show you some of the pages. They're not really gonna come up on camera probably that great, but like, for example, just that like vintage writing theme. Another one of that vintage writing, something like this, super cute. Another vintage writing, random writing. I keep using vintage for everything, guys. Don't come for me. I know a lot of this isn't vintage, but like that's the aesthetic, and that's what my brain thinks of when I think of this aesthetic. You get the vibe, like the neutrals. This one, absolutely perfect. But yeah, you get the vibe. It was truly just kind of like meant to be, and for $3 versus 25 or 30, I was like, yeah, we're getting that. So now it's 48 sheets and I have plenty. So that's all the fun stuff. And then the last thing, there was a Marshall's right next door. They had these really cute paper clips, and I was like, you know what? Again, they fit the vibe, they fit the aesthetic, neutrals, browns, tans, whites, blacks. So that was everything, and I'm very happily pleased with all of the things that I got. There's still so many other things that I want, but I'm trying to not get too far ahead of myself and make sure that I actually stick to this and really like it before I go ahead and spend more money on different aesthetics and things. So the only thing that I didn't really get, which is like the least of what I was wanting to get, is more things like the binder clips. So I was wanting like maybe specific paper clips or little just clippy things. My brain doesn't work a lot of the time. My brain thinks of things and then my words can't compute what my brain's thinking of, and that's what I'm doing here. So more like office supplies, if you will, right? So maybe like some bookmarks or I don't know, things like that, right? So that's what I'm on the lookout for now. I have a bunch of things in my Amazon wish list, and I'll have all of that stuff linked. I think that if you are 20 something and you're realizing that you don't really know yourself very well, and you've gotten to a point where you want to get to know yourself and you want to figure yourself out, this is a series that you're really gonna like, because it shows the messy side of your 20s and maybe even your 30s. Like, I'm 28 and I'm just figuring out myself, and a lot of social media shows the highlight reel of the 21-year-old girl who says she knows everything about herself, her entire life's together, her entire life is super vibey and aesthetic, she has all the friends, she has all the good family members around her, she goes to Pilates every day, she's super disciplined, you know, like that's a vibe, and I love that kind of content. Don't get me wrong, I watch that a lot, but I do feel like there's a side of social media that we're missing, and that's showing the low light reels, the not so perfect reels. And that isn't my entire life. I've realized that my entire life is never really gonna be a highlight reel, and it's never gonna be full of all of those perfect moments that I wish it was, because of the ADHD and the PCOS. If you relate to either one of those, great. But even if you just feel like you're a low energy person, you've been spending a lot of time focusing on everybody else in your life and not yourself. Maybe you've been focused on college and school and your career, and you've neglected the fun side and yourself and figuring out who you are, who you like to spend time with. And maybe you've even just been in a long-term relationship and you don't know who you really are because you grew with that person. And when you're not in a relationship in your 20s, throughout college, throughout your first couple jobs, throughout your mid, early, late 20s, there are so many things that you get to know about yourself when you're single. Just because you're realizing it now at 25 doesn't mean you're too late. Just because you're realizing it now at 30, 32, 35, 40, 45, you're never too late to get to know yourself. And I think that that is something that society pushes. Like, figure out your career, figure out when you want to get married, figure out when you want to have babies, figure out what you like to do on your free time, figure out how to work out, figure out how to eat well, figure out how to take care of your mindset, go to therapy, have a good family dynamic, like, all by the time you're 25. And the second we turn 26, we're like, oh my God, we're in our late 20s. What am I doing with my life? Be freaking real right now. How are you supposed to figure all that out before you're 30? Before you're 35, 40 even. Let's be real, right? Okay, I just got off on a huge rant there, but that is what this entire channel is going to be, and that's what I embody in my life now, and I want to share with you guys and bring you guys along. So stick around. We are going to get to this in this video, I promise, and that'll be the next thing you see.